नमस्कार देवी और सज्जनों, ईसेल मैनिट के हवाई अड्डे पे आपका स्वागत है। पे चर्चा की संख्या 02 उड़ान भरने के लिए अब तैयार है। कृपया अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी बांधे रखें और पॉडकास्ट की समाप्ति तक अपने निर्धारित स्थान पे बने रहें। आशा है कि आपकी यात्रा सुखद रहे। हमारे साथ सफर करने के लिए धन्यवाद। Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to yet another exciting episode of our podcast. I am your host, CHARCHA, and today we have a truly exceptional guest who's here with us to share invaluable insights and opinions into the world of finance and investments. A patron with a career that has spanned the complexities of market trends, risk assessment, and strategic financial planning. Having navigated through the intricate web of economic landscape, guiding clients towards prosperous financial futures. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Karthik Vidyasagar. Welcome to the show, sir. How have you been doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for inviting me to be participating in this exciting podcast. And my affinity towards NIT-Bhopal has grown leaps and bounds over a period of time. And it's really truly exciting to be part of this illustrious list of people who have been participating in this podcast.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, should we move on to our question rounds?
Yeah.
So, sir, you have graduated from prestigious IIT Madras. When was the last time that you were able to visit the campus?
About 3 months ago, I was fortunate enough to go to my alma mater, where I had spent some time with the upcoming budding startups that are part of the incubation center over there.
Right, sir. So, sir, looking back, could you please tell us your most fond memories?
The most fond memories is the day that I joined and I entered the campus as a student in 1992, where I started, when I stepped along in the campus along with my father as to take my bags towards the hostel that I was staying, and trying to find out who would be my roommates in the hostel and what could be that I would learn. The first day, it is still strongly etched in the memory of myself that I found the magnificence of the institution. The moment I entered and I said, hey, this is the place that I would be spending my next 4 years of my life. I would be able to learn a lot from the institute, since it was a residential campus, and that's how the ecosystem works as such. So what also happened is that I stepped in. My first brush was with my teachers over there, and what they were trying to tell me about how warm that they were welcoming me. I mean, आंखों में थोड़ी नमी आ जाती है जब वो इंस्टीट्यूशन के बारे में ये सोचता भी हूँ तो काफी अरसा गुजरा हुआ है, लेकिन फिर भी आज की तारीख पे भी वो इंस्टीट्यूशन ने मुझे काफी कुछ दिया है मेरी जिंदगी में.
Right, sir, can totally relate with all that you are telling. So, sir, after completing your BTech from IIT, what further inspired you to pursue finance, and that too from prestigious university like Stanford?
जब मैंने 96 में institution से बाहर निकला, my dreams were always towards earning in greenbacks and dollars, because there was a distinctive approach towards working abroad rather than working here in India, and those dreams were fueled and fulfilled by the institute IIT Madras itself, where I was fortunate enough to be selected on campus in one of the portfolio companies in the United States of Berkshire Hathaway.
Right, sir. So, sir, we can observe from the last 2 decades, a noticeable shift has occurred where individuals tend to pursue BTech degree from India and then seek job opportunities abroad. Sir, you have worked in both the atmosphere. So can you please comment on the disparities in work culture between India and foreign countries? Also, if you could provide us with a comparison between lifestyle and work-life culture there.
Yeah, work-life balance is certainly something that you can always take home, especially if you have worked in the United States. But when you look back at the opportunities that you're getting now here in India are no way lesser than what you will get in anywhere else in the world. Probably the quality of life will be the amount of work that you would do here in India is much far ahead of what you would probably do it in anywhere rest of the world. So that I mean, every time that I talk about this, I have to talk about many months ago where I started my life. Most of the kids that are there in MANIT or any other institution now were not even born when I started my work life. So in those period of time, it was more structured culture that was there. The professional ethics over there, away from India, were much far superior. But the parity has shrunk over a period of time. The the plateaus that we were thinking that we had earlier in our life are no longer there currently, because most of the people are very well traveled and they have seen the world, how best to work towards a common goal of and the whole thing has changed over a period of time. Here now in India, you would find the same kind of work culture as such, but the competition over here is much more superior. And only thing that we have is that probably there needs to be a change in the mindset and approach that we have towards our peers, which is not
Right.
there, which is something that I would say that they are a little ahead. And there's nothing called gray in terms of the overall communication that we have as of now in the away from India. But इंडिया में एक अनोखा एक चीज होता है कि देखते हैं
Hmm.
सो देखते हैं सोचेंगे. This is something that is a very peculiar thing that happens here in India. I mean, away from India, it is either black or white. Either it is a yes or a no. Here
Right.
in the pursuit and the tries towards being diplomatically right, we try to say, हाँ देखते हैं, सोचेंगे, देखते हैं. ये देखते हैं वाला scenario is that where you're not affirmatively saying that yes, we will work on it or we will not work on it. We are just trying to buy some time to make sure that we would come up with a solution, with a probable solution where we will not hurt other people. So that is something that we don't have away from India. In India, that culture is still going to take a little more time to be watered off, where the work-life balance can be struck much better. And here, because of our competitiveness, people tend to accept everything.
Hmm.
Like if I'm giving a job to my colleague and I'll ask him or her to complete it, it's very easy. It's very easy to say no because it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be an additional work on themselves towards what they are already doing it, right?
Right.
Whereas when you look at it here in India, for the pressure that they were trying to take for themselves, they tend to start accepting this work. Ideally, they shouldn't have accepted this work because that would help them keep their work-life balance better. But over there, away from India, they value their work-life balance very well. So that's the reason you'll see or hear that, hey, I'm not ready to take up this additional job because I have to be here with my family. So that is a cultural difference that we still are yet to cross the bridge. Slowly we are doing it in certain pockets. We are certainly telling people that, hey, I'm not ready to take up this job, additional work, just because I need to stay true to my family, or I want to have my work-life balance. I'm not going to be burnt out. Here in India, we are still trying to say we are okay with burning ourselves out, and that creates a sense of dissatisfaction in their work life in itself. So that is something that is there. But slowly and
Right.
steadily, we are moving. We are moving towards. We are closing that gap.
Right, sir. Sir, if you could have a conversation with a legendary investor from history over a cup of coffee, who would it be and what burning investment questions would you like to ask?
It would be my first boss, Mr. Warren Buffett,
One.
and I would go back to him and ask him, in this current scenario, would you want to invest in artificial intelligence? Most often than not, I would probably know the answer that he would give me immediately. And I also would like to ask him what is his view on continuous view on crypto in itself. I would also know what is his answer on both the topics as such, but I would still want to pick up his brains and say, why is that he's so bent upon not trying to bite that bullet? His first answer about artificial intelligence is that my real intelligence is much better than an artificial intelligence. That that's a classic answer that I'm anticipating that he would give me. On the crypto, which I also follow and I also deeply embrace, is that with greater power comes greater responsibility, and unfortunately, the current crypto in itself doesn't have that power, that responsible people who are in the ecosystem. So that is something that I would like to understand. And I would also like to ask him, of all the things that he has done, he has not forayed into healthcare and health medtech. Why isn't that he hasn't taken that leap of faith towards this particular aspect? Is something that I would love to ask him. Uh, this particular aspect, I won't know what his answer would be, even though I've worked for about 14 years with him, but I won't know what would his answer be about why he hasn't taken greater view on healthcare and medtech.
So, sir, with a growing interest in cryptocurrencies and digital assets, how do you see these assets fitting into traditional investment portfolios?
Well, my personal view or the global view?
We can entertain both, sir.
Okay. My personal view is that I would not venture out into cryptocurrency, crypto assets or digital assets as such. Non-fungible tokens is still something that I would probably entertain, basically because it would give you some sense of belonging towards a monumental or a historic activity like a Da Vinci portrait. If somebody's trying to sell NFTs for Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, I would still say that, hey, that still has some tangible value. If in case somebody is talking to me about cryptocurrency, a tradable model of business, I would still take it a pass because I wouldn't probably trust putting up the environment, the Mother Earth at risk by so much of electricity that is going to be used for this mining, crypto mining, and the digital assets are not to my liking. Globally, what has happened is that while the greatest currency of that is freely traded currency, United States dollar, uh, as much as that country is a capitalist country and it doesn't want to do any restrictions on any of the assets, digital assets, the other currencies are going to have been taking a beating over a period of time, and due to multiple reasons, due to the commodity trading and stuff like that. So those countries have started clamping down on non-conventional trade as such. So these countries have been coming down hard on cryptocurrency and digital assets. So that's the reason you would have seen there's withdrawals in them of people from the crypto arena, and that is going to stay forever for a little more while before people will come around and say, "Hey, we can't keep continuing to depend upon United States dollars, but probably try to trade ourselves in a different model." Well, there are countries like India and China which are trying to push their currency as at least for bilateral trade to be trading in this currency, but that is not. I mean, the other country, the receiving country, will not be able to do much other than putting that money into the market in itself because they need to trade for that. So there has to be another consortium of nations where they could probably take away the impact of United States dollar. The same thing is happening with African continent as well, and in India as such, where we are trying to do a trade fuel for rupee between Russia and India. The same thing is happening with China and Africa as well. So multiple things are happening, but it would still take a little more time. It has taken about 3 generations, or I mean, close to 6 to 7 generations, if every generation is marked at 30 years, for United States dollar to have such a strong foothold. So another 2 generations at least, I would see that this would continue before that could be replaced. Once that is replaced as a freely tradable currency, and everybody would go truly global in terms of digital payments, then that is where ideally cryptocurrency would probably take over as as something that could be traded. And unfortunately, even in crypto, you would still have that tussle between which is supposed to be the predominant model of currency in its use. Should we use Ethereum? Should we use Dogecoin? Should we use Bitcoins and stuff like that? So this competitiveness will keep it a little more on the fence, and it will take a little more time before it truly evolves and becomes the larger denominated currency.
So, sir, you have worked nearly a decade for Berkshire Hathaway. What were the intricacies that you liked working upon the most over there?
Reject more, accept very few. The rejection ratio for investment was about 99%, and 1% of the overall proposals that we were getting, we were trying to approve. I very initially I would say, hey, every proposal looks great. Every founder comes with a passion that is unparalleled. Every company that is that we are being asked for investment is coming with an entirely different set of things that are going to be very, very valuable. And what you always feel is, hey, यहाँ पे इस ये company में दम है. This company can go beyond our conventional thought processes. It can probably etch itself to glory. But the investment thesis is in itself such that you should always try to figure out which will never fail. So it's not about I will allow myself to fail in 3 and be successful in 7. No, that is not the case. Here, 10 of the 10 investments that we make, they need to be successful. Yeah, we have taken some really crazy decisions. We have ourselves rejected Apple at a very initial stage. Subsequently, now we are probably the single largest institutional investor of Apple. But if had we done it earlier, our growth would have been phenomenal. But the way that we treat is that we have certain loyalties towards our existing portfolio companies. We were always very particular about not investing into competitive companies. So this are a few takeaways which I feel, I mean, I still hold them very close to my heart. Even now when I hear proposals, I am trying to reject them rather than trying to pursue them myself. I'm trying to say no to them. So I'm expecting the founders of the current generation founders to impress me so much that I'm coming from -1 to 0 to 0 to +1 to make their investment for one. So इसमें क्या होता है? You dwell a lot.
So clearly, education
You
plays
try
a
to
vital
understand
role
about the
in each of our
company a
lives.
lot.
So
You
don't you
spend a
think
little more
current
time
Indian's education
with them.
system
You understand whether the
has too
perseverance
many
is going to
loopholes?
be there for a longer period of time. That will guarantee the success. So technically speaking, I'm trying to do this to make sure that the overall investment thesis is itself for a longer time. And once this is right, with especially with my first company that I worked with, once they invest, they stay invested for a long, long time. It's not that हमने आज पैसे डाल दिया कल इसका कोई upside दिखा and then we exited. No, it's a continuous business upside that we are trying to look at it. And the curve over a period of time has to grow. So that is something that I've learned, and I've said it is not for the short-term investors that this market is. This market is purely designed for long-term investors who can stay invested with the company for a longer period of time rather than anything else.
Right, sir. So you have also mentioned on your LinkedIn account that you liked investing in socially conscious ventures. So, sir, could you please elaborate upon these startups, and can you brief us about your most ambitious investment till date?
Okay, I'm very much interested in the socially conscious investments that are there. I mean, I say something into renewable space, something as an alternative industry with the alternative fuels. There are a couple of investments that I made myself post coming back to India. One is into an advanced cell chemistry company, pretty large now, but it's still bound to grow much further. Another is into a healthcare medtech company. This company is into non-invasive blood glucometers. I would take a time and show you this unique gadget.
Yes, sir.
This gadget, it's not part of my life. why I say this is part of my life is that wherever I go, I carry this. This is it's a first of its kind in the world to do the best of the performance in terms of non-invasive blood glucometer. It has changed my lifestyle from what I used to be and what I am now. It has changed the food eating patterns that I have found. It has changed the way that I consume beverages, whether it is non-toxicant or even intoxicant beverages, and it has created, it has enhanced the way that I spend more time in terms of uh, looking at myself, trying to keep myself fit, and this is giving you the result of your blood glucometer within 1 minute. No prick at all. Not that I'm diabetic, but I'm just trying to watch myself. It is also giving me about 7 other extremely important vitals, including ECG and stuff like that. So this is something that I'm very cautious. It is going to have greater impact, especially in a country like India, where we have about 200 million people who are suffering from diabetes. Our food in itself is very rich and I mean, it's colorful in the best of its way that we can probably put it. And this particular device would help us to curb our eating patterns, not trying to uh, suggest in any way what we should not eat as of now, going forward, but it would just try to tell about your body's reaction to certain type of foods. Why would dark chocolates be better than the conventional chocolates, brown chocolates, what could be the impact and what could be things like that. So these are things that I'm very interested in the sense that I would be investing. I would also, as I said, advanced cell chemistry companies where they would be eventually replacing fossil fuels towards how the mobility itself that we have, then the way that we store our energy and how the energy could be used in multiple levels and stuff like that. So things like that, I'm very, very deeply interested. I'm also interested in socially conscious. I would say it's healthcare is socially conscious in itself. There's a company which is into 3D printing of human organs and bones, especially because the critical care in an accident and the trauma care is about how to alleviate the pain that a person is going through after he or she meets with an accident. So that particular trauma care is being addressed by a company. They are trying to do something. There's a company based out of Hyderabad, which is also doing a path-breaking study into uh, pancreatic oncology. So something like that, which I'm very, very close to because these things don't have a solution at this point in time. There is also companies which are into microfinance of democratization of finance towards rural India, a segment which is completely delivered as of now. I'm evaluating them for the last 4.5 months. I'm still trying to find out where I can probably look at joining their hands. I'm also evaluating and the company which is into mobile toilets and 3D printing of toilets for girls in government schools in India, which is something that I'm very, very deeply attached to. I've invested in the 3D printing of toilets for girls in India because that's the greatest. That's a reason of about 80% of the girls drop out of the schools even now in this 23rd, 21st century is with lack of sanitation and hygiene for people. So that is something that I'm very, very deeply interested. There's also a company that I'm evaluating, which is into biodegradable sanitary napkin manufacturing here in India. So that is something that which I'm very, very close and deeply attached as a human being towards these two problems.
Right, sir. So, sir, how do you balance your professional and personal life? Like, what in a life of Karthik Vidyasagar looks like? Can you please elaborate upon it?
Wake up at 5, start working towards your fitness for about an hour and a half. Try to close your eyes and try to see what is your deeply rooted problem that is something that you want to address on the day. Turn off your digital screen space by 8:30 in the evening and make sure that you don't touch your phone and you don't use the phone beyond three hours. It is something that I'm very, very strict at this point of time in my life. I would try to address most of the day's job before 11 o'clock in the morning. Rest all, I'm trying to understand and assess if I can meet new people, if I can understand what they're trying to address in the day-to-day lives of multiple people, how impactful that a particular solution could potentially be, and how things could transpire and they could grow much further by trying to contribute to the larger good of the society. And if in case I can do some work myself, I would love to do it for them. And certainly try to take care of plants as an ecosystem which provide food for us even to this date, and also trying to make sure that you can treat every living being as on par with the human beings as such. So my
Right,
typical day
sir.
starts at 5 and ends at about 10 o'clock with 1.5 hour detox from any of the electronic items that you are there around. So that makes life simpler. You spend more time, quality time with your family, try to understand what is that they are seeing differently from you. Because this generation of kids like you have so many ideas, so many new things that information that you have. You are living in a world of information overload and surplus, and you would probably think in a different way that we are thinking. We are wired differently. You are wired differently. Not taking anything away from ourselves, but you guys really think out of the box.
Right, sir. So, sir, here's a really interesting question. Supposedly, imagine that you have $100 million right now in your hand. When and why would you like to invest them?
When, where, and why? Yeah,
When, where, and why?
I would like to invest today.
Yes, sir.
In renewable space and mobility. I would love to invest some part into mobility. I would like to probably carve out into 4 different segments that I would love to invest. One into mobility, one into medtech space, another one into healthcare, and one into addressing the socially impactful side, which is something that I've always felt is an absolute necessity, is about having a proper sanitation for people and on the highways. We currently are living in a country which has got vast populace, but very pretty underserved in terms of the sanitation requirements, especially for women. Unfortunately, the difference between a man's usage of a toilet and towards a woman's usage of a toilet are completely different. So that particular pain point, I would love to address at least by 1/4 of the 100 million US that I would have, if in case I have, and that all these things would have happened now. Something into path-breaking story in terms of healthcare that can probably improve the quality of life of the people that are there around, because it's very hard and tough to even imagine and fathom to lose someone because of the growing incidents that we are having as of now. So that is something that I would love to do. 4 parts: one into mobility, one key into sanitation, and one into healthcare, and one into medtech. If I have to put all my eggs in one basket, I would go ahead with doing this. It for the sanitation of people as such, for sanitation and personal and health hygiene for women. Yes, something very, very close to my heart.
That's really socially conscious of you, sir. All right, sir. Now we would like to move on to our fun segment round, where we will give you a prompt and you have to say the first thought that comes in your mind without much thinking. So, are you ready, sir?
I hope I am ready.
Okay, so the first word is Hyderabad.
Place I live.
Allu Arjun.
Good friend.
Marvel.
Wow.
Madras.
Sambar.
Harshad Mehta.
Genius gone corrupt.
Engineering.
Passion.
Investment banker.
Love of my life.
Instagram.
Waste of time.
Elon Musk.
Can't understand.
Cars.
Adrenaline rush.
That's some really creative answers right there, sir. Thank you so much. And that, my friends, bring us to the end of this podcast. Sir, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your invaluable insights and opinion. We sincerely hope that you had a pleasant time here.
Oh, certainly. It was great interacting with you, and the quality of questions that you had, trying to have a sneak peek into my life were really engaging. And I would love to look down back at NIT Bhopal and the body of work that you guys are doing continuously as we move forward in my life. Have a very
Thank you,
good day.
sir. Thank you, sir. So there you have it, folks. Another fantastic episode of our Finance and Investment Chronicles, where we have delved deep into secrets to balance life and balance sheets. That's all for this episode. Until we meet again, keep your entrepreneurial spirits high and make things happen.